Well, it's now time to take a look at news stories making headlines around the globe. We begin with politics, as despite growing concerns about Nigeria's political future, President Bola Tinubu has dismissed fears of a drift towards a one-party state, saying that there's nothing inherently wrong with such a system. He says no one should be blamed for leaving what he described as a sinking ship. At the National Political Summit of the All Progressives Congress in Abuja, all major organs of the party formally endorsed President Bola Tinubu as the sole presidential candidate for the 2027 general election. Speaking at the gathering, Tinubu addressed recent defections from opposition parties, reinforcing the ruling party's growing dominance.
I just need to tell those ones saying one-party system is no good. It's one party ruling and driving the aspiration of Nigerians. Where do they start? You don't blame a people bailing out of a sinking ship when they have no life jacket. I'm glad of what we have, and I'm expecting more to come. That is the game. We are in a constitutional democracy. Don't forget the freedom of movement and the freedom of association is not criminally punishable. Welcome to the progressives. Sweep them clean. Fellow members, of our great party and compatriots, I stand before you today at this National Policy Summit, put together by our party, brimming with profound gratitude for the sacred mandate you entrusted me with in the past 2 years. I thank you all for your unrelenting support and belief in the grand vision that we share to uplift our nation and renew our hopes and aspirations. I thank every one of you. I'm thoroughly inspired. We are just halfway through the journey that began almost 24 months ago. Therefore, this summit offers our administration the opportunity to present our scorecard. You've evaluated it. You've enumerated how far we've been. The faithfulness, the Nigeria assessing how far we have progressed in steering our country along the critical path of our socio-economic development. 2 years ago, we embarked on this journey, propelled by a burst of hope and abiding faith in Nigeria and unity and progress. Together, we pledge to confront Nigerian challenges head-on by rebuilding the trust, fostering prosperity, and restoring our nation's economic health. Today, I am proud to affirm that our economic reforms are working We have removed corruption-leading arbitrage, fuel subsidy, eliminating the arbitrage-driven multiple foreign exchange, together with our far-reaching tax reform. I hope the bills are passed and will be on their way. Senate President. Speaker, where are those tax reform bills?
Well, President Bola Tinubu has charged the new board of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, to bring the experience of its members to bear on the ongoing efforts to transform the country's economy. Speaking while inaugurating the NNPC Limited board at State House, Abuja on Thursday, Tinubu said he selected the board members painstakingly to ensure quality leadership. Group Chief Executive Officer of the NNPC Limited, Bashir Ojulari, said the team had met with industry stakeholders and set clear directions on how to improve various aspects of the company's operations. The president said the ongoing economic reforms had yielded results with local and international acknowledgements. According to him, Nigeria has come of age. It is now more competitive and turning the corner, and with your highly respected team, I can relax and attend to other issues. President Tinubu also told the board that the volatility in the world's economy will require looking inwards for solutions, and Nigerians will depend on them to reposition NNPC Limited. And now, lastly, the Attorney General of the Federation, the AJF, and the Minister of Justice, Lateef Fagbemi San, have said that Nigeria's victory at the United Kingdom arbitration over Process and Industrial Development, P&ID Limited, demonstrated that the nation would never again be exploited. Dedicating the victory to the country's legal team, Fagbemi spoke during a courtesy visit by the team led by Mr. Kofo Abdusalami Alada, the National Coordinator, Legal and Investigation, P&ID FRN, Shaista Akhtar, Partner, Miskon Derea, Head of Litigation Team, Nigeria, and others. While stating that their reward lay in the knowledge that they had made a difference, the AGF pointed out that their efforts had also contributed to something greater than themselves. Meanwhile, Nigeria has recovered the sum of $200 million it deposited to the tribunal in her appeal against a whopping $11 billion arbitral award in favor of P&ID Limited, this day has learned. It truly is a victory for Nigeria and for how we conduct business and how we're able to implement and enforce international best practice here in Nigeria.
I mean, the P&ID case is truly a victory for Nigeria because when the case did break here, we took it extensively. In fact, we had Shola Oshodi John constantly here. I think she led the arbitration office here in Lagos, and she explained a lot of things to us. And there are many other cases in arbitration that the government is fighting. There's one that we're currently fighting in Paris as regards, Mambela and all of that, and many other cases like that. But it just shows the way we do things. The question is, do we learn, Vimba? No, we do not learn. You still have, as long as you have corrupt politicians that want to kick the government as a can down the road, definitely you have that. In some cases, we have paid this judgment debt too. If you go and read Nkosi Okonjo-Iweala's book, you will see a litany of many deals like that happened that she stated in her book. But this one is a big success because it was a big judgment debt, over 11 billion they wanted to get, and we saw that a lot of the people there were fraudulent. And the representative of the team, Miskon Derea, which is one of the biggest law firms in the world, and a couple of other law firms, and the Nigerian team all, went there, and they did clarify issues, and they got, something very viable out. And the initial payment of the $200 million Nigeria did pay, we have taken that money back. And kudos also to the last administration, because a lot of this was fought under the Malami tenure, and he did fight this effectively, so kudos to him as regards that. Coming back to President Tinubu as regards one-party state. One-party state is bad for democracy. Flip the script. When President Tinubu was in opposition 2010, 2011, 2012, he was a proponent of multi-party democracy. Today, because he's favoring everybody's coming to his party, he says the game. It's so easy to say. It's so easy to say because other political parties are struggling. And that's why we say they must also come on stream. They must have a robust engagement. And that's why those that are doing their coalition, they better do their coalition because, like he says, the game, I'm gaining. I'm sweeping them to my side. Just the other day, Governor Eno was saying that if you are in his cabinet and you're not ready to move or you're not ready to part with him, then definitely you're going to be in trouble. They are consolidating. But the question is, consolidating on what? Governance, where we still have a lot of loopholes. Talked about economic success. He said we removed the corruption in the system. Really? Have we accounted for the corruption that happened with over 2 billion spent and the 2 refineries are not still working top shape? What were the promises made then? Is it not that, the refineries will work, once removed subsidy, they will act as buffer? Has that happened? What about impeding a man that borrowed $20 billion because he didn't have the money? Have we supported him enough? If not by the cries of people, they just started supporting Dangote. At some point, they stopped to renegotiate that crude swap deal. The crude for Naira deal. So what are we saying? As regards the trade, are we not still importing fuel? Was it not supposed to eliminate the importation of fuel? What has been the case of the economy? Flotation of the Naira has not had a disastrous impact on businesses. Haven't we have a lot of inflation problems? Companies are suffering now. Interest rate over 27.5%. When you go to the banks, over 30%, some get 35%. Macroeconomics factor, increased inflation. Dr. Abati, are you not paying more for Gary in the market today? Is the pay not much? Are you not expending more? Are we not expending more? So the people are suffering. So see, World Bank will praise you because they have their own interests. When you do according to their bidding. World Bank always wanted you to devalue. If you go back to the SAP conversations, once you do what World Bank says, then you'll be in problem. But there's no time you devalue that things over come back the same. In 86, when we did the second-tier foreign exchange market, that was how they promised. So once you devalue, it will find its feet at about 2 to 3. As at 1992, 1993, it didn't go up to 11 naira to the dollar. So these are the increased problem. Yeah, you say, okay, Bonga North is one of them. The share is going to take a final investment decision soon. The other Bonga field is a good one. Some money is coming in as regards there. But when you look at the macroeconomic factors, people are suffering. So these are the factors. You say student loan, yes. But have we fully investigated what they reported about student loans? The commissions reported recently? I yield the floor, sorry.
Okay, first, let me start with P&ID. The Attorney General of the Federation, Lateef Fagbemi SAN, has been celebrating, saying that the victory that Nigeria has secured, the $10 million award and the $200 million additional award in the particular case of P&ID, means that Nigeria cannot be cheated again by anybody anywhere in the world. Yeah, the triumphalism, I noted, he was praising the team, the federal government, Nigeria, and P&ID team that secured this victory. But the truth has to be told. The truth is that Nigeria is the problem. We may have escaped with P&ID, but if you look at the issues in the case, what is the issue? Process and industrial development getting contracts from Nigeria. A company that was a special purpose vehicle. There was also something about a BVI company being involved. Nigeria did not do its due diligence. At the heart of the P&ID process is corruption, is fraud. When we wrote on this issue, I've written more than 2 articles on this subject, so I'm a bit familiar with it. There was a woman, Grace Taiga, who was finger-pointed as having collected a bribe, and other persons who were finger-pointed as having collected bribe, and EFCC moved in. And at the end of the day, gas contracts were awarded to a non-existent company, an incompetent company. And that is the problem. It's not about the triumphalism that we won at the commercial court in Great Britain and all of that. How can Nigeria ensure that we don't keep receiving this kind of embarrassment, either with Mambila hydro plant, or with Ascon in Ikorabasi, or with what is that one that is in Kogi State? Ajaokuta Steel Company. Because we have all of these issues where judgment debts are pending, all because of the lack of integrity in the procurement process in Nigeria. That is the issue. It's not the triumphalism of Lateef Fagbemi SAN that we won this case. Are they going to win all the other cases that are as a result of lack of integrity in the governance process? However, the only caveat that I can put there is that it's not Tinubu that caused the problem. It's an inherited problem. The victory came under his watch. But long term, Nigerian government has to show more sincerity of purpose, and government officials have to show that they believe in the country. Underhand table deals are the things that cause this problem. And there's a lot of corruption, in the oil and gas sector. That is a fact, and the truth must be told. Rufai, what is that word you use? Empirical facts. I'm providing empirical facts on the subject. Now, as to Ojulari-led board of NNPC, the president inaugurated the board yesterday, and he said he had very high hopes about that board, and that he has chosen, in his view, the best and the brightest. And if you look at the list of persons who are there, whether it's Austin Avuru, or Bayo Ojulari himself, or Ahmed Kida, or Motoba, and all the other members of the group, they are persons who are well known in the oil and gas industry. So you cannot question their experience or their competence. Now, President Tinubu, having gone for these people who are experienced members of that oil and gas sector, they should know that their work is cut out for them. He has given them certain projections. One, they should increase oil production. And Ojulari has said, they are capable, they will be able to increase it from 1.5 million barrels per day to at least 1.9 barrels per day. Now, President Tinubu says he's looking for quality leadership. Now, I will dwell on that. This thing about quality leadership. Now, the Ojulari NNPC management should know that what they are coming to do is to address a national emergency. A lot of problems in the oil and gas industry. So the board that is led by Ahmed Kida, supported by Ojulari, should be told that they cannot lead a political board. It has to be a technical board that will declare an emergency in that sector. If it means meeting twice a month to see how they can revive that particular sector, they have to do it. It's not just about what Ojulari says or what Ahmed Kida says. Number two is that there is an urgent need for synergy between the midstream, the upstream, and the downstream. Nigeria at the moment is operating at the upstream level. That's where we're making money from. Midstream and downstream, those ones are in disarray. Can this new NNPC board, just provide that synergy that is required for the purpose of growth and progress? Number three is the issue in terms of wasting assets. NNPCL has a lot of wasting assets. The principal ones among them will be the refineries. Those refineries, if they are wasting assets, they have not served our purpose. They should be disbanded and sold for scrap.
After $2 billion, Dr. Abati?
Well, no. We can't continue to waste money. We are facing an emergency. Let them disband those refineries, hand them over to, maybe private investors who can handle them. Would they continue to put money? Those refineries don't even have boats. They're just there collecting money and wasting Nigeria's money. That, in my view, should be a priority for Ojulari and Ahmed Kida. Now, there is something they call AKK, the AKK pipeline project. Now, we are raising questions about that AKK pipeline project. What are they going to do about it going forward? We don't want rhetoric. We want specific actions. 4, what about, what is it that they are talking about? What is it about going to the market? IPO. The IPO that Ojulari himself has mentioned in passing. We need a proper audit for purposes of transparency and transparency. And when there is that audit, that audit will mean that they will have to clean the books. Ojulari has been quoted as saying he will do it within the next 2 years. Okay, clean the books so that people can come and invest in NNPC Limited. The ceremony is okay. Wives will be there, daughters will be there, relatives will be there. They will congratulate them. But this is not about ceremony. This is about work. Within the government space, government has always failed in managing assets. The only one that is working is Nigeria LNG. And even Nigeria LNG is not completely managed by the Nigerian government. So we want progress, we want success in that particular sector. Finally, President Tinubu saying he's consolidating, that those who want to join are welcome under the freedom of movement, freedom of assembly, and all of that. Yes, the Constitution is clear. People can move this way, that way. But the thing to realize is that a one-party system is not in favor of any country because it consolidates authoritarianism. What we saw yesterday at the villa was a display of sycophancy, if you like, a display of triumphalism with the Progressive Governors Forum, the North Central in another function. They were not there, saying they have endorsed Tinubu. The National Assembly saying that they have endorsed Tinubu. In fact, Senator Akpabio asked all National Assembly members present to stand up. And the House of Reps Speaker, Idris, Tajuddin Abbas, seconded the motion, and the A's have it. But the beauty of Nigeria is that you now have, on the coalition side, also organizing. They have appointed Senator David Mark, as chairman of the coalition. You have Rotimi Amechi as chairman to determine where the party should go. You have Senator Saraki to decide in his own committee whether they should stay in the PDP. And the Amechi committee submitted a report yesterday saying that they are asking for a party called All Democratic Alliance, whose motto will be justice for all. And so you see that while the Tinubu camp is consolidating, the coalition is also not sleeping. And the Amechi committee is saying that the way forward is to form another political party, All Democratic Alliance, ADA, ADA. ADA in Yoruba language means cutlass. So the people who are wielding cutlass to cut down the APC, they too are not sleeping. But the best strategies will probably win. Unfortunately, we the people are the ones holding the short end of the stick in this matter because we still expect governance. But President Tinubu says he will take us to the promised land within the next 2 years.
Absolutely. Well, I hope we can also remind ourselves that although we may appear to be wielding the short end of the stick, that it's still our votes that will determine who stays in office in 2027 or who assumes that office in 2027. And that power has to be reiterated, that although there's all this political posturing, we have to remind ourselves that the electorate has to stand firm with their choice and which way they decide to go in 2027. Now, I don't think there's anything too out of place of seeing if an incumbent being offered a first right of refusal on continuing his tenure. That's common practice, although this early in the season begs the question. You begin to ask yourself, what is really going on? The coalition of opposition parties, CUP, has said that this is a sign that there's some sort of panic happening within the ruling party because all of just this jostling around so early in the game, what do they know and what's really happening internally and what's happening on the political landscape that they feel the need to start doing all of this jostling that looks like panicking at this point in time? Well, that still stands to be determined, as of course we see the various movements. The League of Northern Democrats is also getting themselves together. The groups are coming together. But let's look at issues of governance, and let's look at Nigeria, the potential of Nigeria evolving into a one-party state. Well, under the presidency of Goodluck Jonathan, you did have over 20 governors who belonged to the PDP. So when you look at the historical antecedent, you have to ask yourself, what is it in our institutions that fosters this scenario where we find ourselves that governors have to belong to the ruling party, that you have a one dominating ruling party? And then if you look at it from a historical antecedent across the African country, you'll find that from independence, most African countries chose a dominant ruling party. Those liberation movements that took us from colonialism into independence. You look at Tanzania, you look at Zimbabwe, you look at ANC and so forth. But specifically, if you look at a country like Tanzania that we've reported extensively over the past couple of weeks, and how authoritarian the current president, Samia Suluhu Hassan, has become, we now say this is why we are avoiding evolving into a state where there is a one party that dominates, because it does encourage the stifling of dissent. It encourages a situation where the state becomes the party and the party becomes the state. They all merge and they become one thing. And this is not progressive, to use that word very intentionally. This is not a progressive state in affairs. Now, Nigeria, in all fairness, after independence, did not have a single dominant ruling party. It has always had a culture of having a multi-party democracy. And I think it's very important for us to go back to the essence, to go back to a playing field that is level, where it's competitive for opposition parties. But when you have a governor who's threatening his commissioners that if you don't decamp with me, you have to resign. When you have a minister of works who is saying that if you don't join us, you won't enjoy the benefits of federal presence in your states, then it becomes an environment that does not allow opposition to foster. So to make it seem as though opposition is just moving to the ruling party just because it conveniences them, yes, there is stomach infrastructure involved. But on the other hand, there's also the very real prospect of the fact that when you're left out in the cold, there's very little for you. There's very little gain from opposition. Look at South African President Cyril Ramaphosa, who took an opposition leader with him to a meeting with Donald Trump in the Oval Office. I wonder whether we could have a scenario where we saw a president of Nigeria taking an opposition leader who was part of his government with him to represent national interests abroad. It's unheard of. It would never, ever happen. Now, very quickly as we round up, I just want to touch on NNPC with the remaining few seconds. And, well, the Ojulari-led board, congratulations to them. They have a tall order ahead of them. I don't think anybody really envies the daunting task that they have before them. But he's also set extremely ambitious targets. The goal is to be able to attract $60 billion worth of investment by 2030 and to also take Nigeria to 3 million barrels per day of oil output by that same time frame. Well, it's important to set those goals, but Nigerians will first say that we have a number of issues that need to be addressed before that. PANDEF are crying foul, and they're saying that since this board came into place, nobody has come to Niger Delta to tell us what their plans are with regards to the fact that our communities have been degrading over the years and nothing has been done. SERAP is saying, yes, fine. You're saying 500 billion naira from the subsidy went towards various debts that the NNPC had. What are those debts? Please break it down for us. Let's know, where do the books stand? So this is the primary, these are some of the primary objectives, some of the primary agendas that Nigerians are waiting to be unveiled from this new board amidst the pomp and fanfare, of course, of being inaugurated.